All right. Wanted to provide another status update here. It's been about 10 days since the PRP injection I got in my right knee, in my quadricep tendon and patellar tendon. So I think the last update, I was still super focused on being sedentary and focused on really that rest kind of thing. Um, but I've kind of turned a corner since then, which has been a big relief, right? So as of today, or uh, a couple days ago anyway, I've been walking around on my own unassisted, so without any sort of like crutch or cane or anything like that, and things have been feeling relatively good, right? Like I'm still really conservative as far as the things that I'm doing. So it's like walking around the house, walking out in the yard, walking down the street to the playground with the family, that type of thing, which is a quarter mile or something like that. We actually the most, excuse me, the most walking I've been doing. We actually went to the mall yesterday, and we were there for like a 2+ hours or so. And so I'm thinking, in my mind, that's kind of part of my recovery process. Is that is my exercise that I'm getting, is just using my knee and engaging those muscles and all that stuff, right? And so for the most part, it feels pretty good, right? Like as far as just, hey, I'm going to keep a nice slow pace, going to keep the heart rate low, all that stuff. That feels pretty good. What I've actually noticed, somewhat interesting, and I'm not sure the reason why, is these last couple days is like going downstairs. The affected leg, right, where I got the injections, I actually get like a kind of a cramping sensation in my quadricep, and that would kind of last a little bit, right? So if I got that cramping sensation, then for like the next hour, if I'm walking around a little bit, it still feels like, oh, my quadriceps like a little stiff or almost like mildly crampy or something like that. The only thing that I can kind of what I relate that to, why I say it's crampy, right? Is like I did this mountain biking event. It's an event called the Sister Stampede last May, and it's almost like a sprint style effort. I think of it as like running like the 800-meter dash, where it's like you're trying to go as fast as you can for as long as you can and hold on. And at that time, I was kind of redlining for the first hour. I hadn't trained, particularly for that style of event. And there's a rocky section where I had to kind of get off my bike and put my leg down, my foot down. And as soon as I put my foot down, like my whole quadricep cramped up, along with my hamstring. So for various reasons that happened, and so it was reminiscent of that. As far as going downstairs, I'm putting weight on that foot, and then boom, there's like a little bit of tightness there, which is just a little uncomfortable. So I've been trying to mitigate. I don't know if mitigate's the right word, but I've been focused on things like stretching as best as I can, with my both legs and hips and that type of thing. Thinking that could maybe help a little bit. I don't know. I think that, part of my recovery process, if I was to be a little bit more concise here, I would say I'm focused on walking a little bit, right? And I'm focused on stretching a little bit as well, and then some range of motion exercises. And really, all that is for me is um, um, extending my leg fully and then bending it fully. I guess I don't know the right words to say that, but where my heel is kind of getting close to my butt, right, on that for my knee joint there. And so, doing that sets of those a few times a day, it's really gotten to a good point where that feels just about normal to do that. When I was first doing kind of that range of motion stuff a handful of days ago, I was encountering stiffness, right, as I was kind of bringing my heel in closer to my butt. I just do this in like a sitting position, like on a couch or something like that, and edge of the couch. And so that has definitely improved. As far as like trying to stretch my quad, um, I'm very very conservative in the way that I'm doing that, right? And I can hold that for maybe 10 seconds or something like that, but I'm not trying to get like this epic deep stretch, because my knee does start to I kind of knee doesn't start to feel super good as I'm doing that. So I just kind of let go at that point. So my next step, the thing I'm going to try here, hopefully as soon as I'm done recording this, is actually hopping on my indoor trainer bike. And so I've got a smart trainer at home. It's like a Wahoo kicker that you it's a wheel off trainer, they call it, where you actually have a real bike hooked up to this trainer, and then it introduces some resistance. And I've used some apps like Zwift and Trainer Road. So my thinking is I'm going to go try getting on that bike, that stationary bike, going on Zwift, going on the flattest route I can find, and trying to do like a real short ride, like sub 100 watts, like 50, 75 watts. And that's based on some of the guidance I got from the doctor who did the procedure, saying, hey, start to kind of keep that joint in motion. And the example they provided was get on a stationary bike and pedal with your good leg, where the focus is just having the leg or the knee where we did the procedure, just getting that movement going, right? And so I'm going to give that a try, and trying to be as conservative as I can. And if there's any sort of discomfort, go ahead and end that there, right? So other thing that I got lined up is I'm going to be doing some physical therapy sessions. And so I've been going through a local place here that's a bike fitter and a physical therapist group. And so they're real in tune with cyclists and cycling related injuries and all that stuff. And so going to be doing every other week sessions there for a couple of months anyway. And so, as I was kind of setting up these sessions, it's somebody that I've been in close contact actually with, over these last, 4 or 5 months, is saying, hey, I want to introduce the right amount of physical therapy or exercise to help me get back into a good and healthy state without overdoing it, right? So finding that balance. And I think where I've struggled with that is not pushing myself too hard too soon. And so going through this procedure, the pain of the procedure, the limitations of being on crutches after the procedure, being real diligent as far as laying in bed all the time, I feel like I'm going to say it at this point, and I'm going to replay this back to myself, is that I'm putting in kind of the hard work now, and I don't want to waste it, right? And so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, I have to remember how things have been this last week or so, to say, hey, I don't want to have to do this again, type of thing. So that's my plan. And as we kind of transition beyond that, some forward-looking things and some ideas that I have as far as like maybe reasons to continue to record some videos like this and upload some content is I've got a mountain biking event that I've signed up for this July. And so it's in Bend, Oregon. It's called the High Cascade 100. It's about a 100-mile mountain bike ride race. I'm going to be more on the ride side versus the race side. And I think that it's about 100 miles and 10,000 feet of elevation. And so I didn't do it last year when I was in better shape, and that's because I was scared of it, right? Really, and literally, that was kind of the reason why. And I had a couple of buddies that did do it, and I kind of had the FOMO thing going on as far as like, oh man, they're training, they do the event, and I'm not. And at that time, I kind of wish I did, right? So for me, this feels like a really daunting, intimidating kind of event to do, especially now that like I can't even ride a bike right now, really. But for me, that feels like a goal to work towards, and that's going to help me keep perspective on diligence and PT and stretches and other types of exercises, time on the bike, off the bike, how I'm resting, all this stuff. And so if I'm looking at how these next handful of months are going to play out, right? So now we're getting into late February. This event is in the middle of July. This is going to give me the next, I'll take a half step back, right? So there's a training program that I'm looking at to actually prep for this event, and it's a 12-week long training program. And so for me to do that and have it be that full 12 weeks, I'd have to start late April. And so now being late February, from a amount of time that I have to recover standpoint, I'm looking at, just shy of 10 weeks, I guess, at this point. So for me, that feels achievable, right? Like, hey, I'm going to be super diligent, for 10 weeks on how I can heal and ensure that my body heals. Maybe get a little bit of base fitness foundation on the bike going, in that early April time frame, and then be ready to kind of hit the ground running beginning late April for a 12-week prep for this big High Cascade 100 ride in July. So, I bought I've paid for the entrance fee for the ride. We've booked accommodations as well for July in Bend, Oregon, and so I'm committed to it from a financial standpoint. I figure I'm going to listen to my body, and the worst case is that we still go to Oregon. I don't participate in the event. Hopefully I'll be feeling good enough where I can just go do some bike rides for fun, type of thing. I'm going to have like some contingency plans, I guess, in place, right? And some plans in place, like if in the ride itself, if my knee's starting to hurt, to say, I don't want to push through this. I tried pushing through this before, and it set me back, a half a year or something like that. So this has been a really good learning exercise. So I guess in short, as I'm wrapping things up, hey, knee is feeling better. Hey, I'm walking around on my own. It's not 100% for sure. Going downstairs and stuff, that feels weird. Hoping that's going to go away as I continue to be real conservative in the things that I'm doing. Gonna try spinning on the bike with like no resistance and see how things feel with that. Last thing is that I do have a follow-up appointment with the doctor that did the procedure in about 5 days, so the end of the week here, and then I have PT sessions starting next week. So I'm looking forward to next steps, and wanting to be mindful of. I'm excited now, but I know that, things probably aren't just going to go perfectly and swimmingly, right? So, thinking back to how things were about a week ago when I was really in my head as far as like, oh my gosh, what happened? Why did I do this? This is depressing. Realizing that, this isn't just going to be a straight path forward, and that I'm sure that there are going to be some hiccups that come along the way, or maybe my progress towards feeling, fit and 100% healthy again, might not just be in a straight line, right? It might, I don't know, we'll see. But maybe that's something for us to document here, and then so I can kind of keep track of it. And then my hope and dream and goal here is that in a couple months' time, I'm going to be posting videos of me on the bike, getting outside, getting on the mountain bike, getting into the woods, and then hopefully being down in Central Oregon come summertime, and gonna have some fun there. So probably some type 2 fun there. So yeah, anyway, that's my update. Hope all is well. Thanks.